Hey everyone, today we're gonna look into my portfolio. So I've done the math. It's difficult right now, but I've done the math. I will share like what I'm holding, percentages. Obviously, this is dynamic. We're gonna look into it in detail. What projects I'm looking to add, maybe that I still don't have, and all the goodies. But we're gonna do a real cool breakdown, in my opinion. But before that, we gotta need to cover the markets. You wanna talk about the good stuff because it's been hell of a month. Honestly, it's been amazing. It's the how can I say this? It's the moment we've been all waiting for. So Bitcoin had a massive chop area here for months, and I've eaten shit in this thing. Like I didn't do that well, profit wise. I didn't do terrible, but I didn't do well. And we were all kind of hoping we'd get a bull run, but it wasn't like guaranteed. But when Trump got elected, you see what happened. This is the month that we just closed of November. Bitcoin's up 37% on the month. It was even more. We touched 100K, which is amazing. It's incredible, honestly. Back in this area around here, around 30K, I was thinking like, oh, we if we get to 80K, that would be great. I'm selling my backs there. And if we get to 100, that's the top of the market. But now it seems like we are just starting this cycle, basically. I mean, the cycle, especially for altcoins, because I've been vocal and I've been for altcoins, but obviously I've been quite early on most of them. And now it seems like it's the right moment, the right conditions, the right season, even. If we look at previous cycles, we've had exactly the same price action at the end of each year of a bull run. Like this year in 2020, 4 years ago, October. This is October here. We went up like 30% almost. November 42%, December 47%, and then the trend accelerated. So I think we're in for a few good months. This, of course, doesn't mean we need to be drinking all the moon juice. I am currently, and honestly, I need to start probably journaling live for you guys on video because it's extremely important to be able to manage your emotions in trading. And it's not easy. I can tell this much. It's not easy, but the moment you vocalize them and you put them into writing or something, it's kind of the emotions are starting to lose the power over you. So maybe I should do this, but keep in mind that I'm only like 10% in cash right now. Everything else is allocated to crypto, and it's really high on the risk curve. Um, in my opinion, at least you see in the portfolio distribution. But I'm still feeling the FOMO. I'm still like, oh, I have 10% cash. I need to allocate it, which is kind of stupid, but it's what the market does to you, especially if you have a few winners, which I've been having in the last few days, few weeks. Like it seems like whatever I'm buying right now is just pumping really hard, and obviously it's great. It's great, but it should not cloud our judgment as traders because we're here to make money and we're not here to hold backs forever and ride them to 10x and zero after that. So, yeah, it's a fine line. But enough of me just chatting about this. Let's look at what's cooking. Obviously, we have a very clean breakout. And the first thing that I want to discuss is the bearish scenario here, because I think it's very important to stay grounded and to have a plan, at least in your head, what could happen if we get bearish. And keep in mind, the bearish scenario is not very bearish. So on the weekly, basically we had an acceleration of the trend. This week is going to close, it looks like, in the red, which is great, but just look at this candle. I mean, we retraced just a little bit to 90K, and now we're back at pretty much 97 and 98K this weekend. And if we do something like this, if we have like a pop above 100K, so people start aping on the breakout here of 100K, and then we close right back below it, retest it, and maybe have a bigger sell-off, this could spook the market and it could lead to at least a momentary cool off, and people maybe also getting wrecked on leverage because this is what people do, go on 100x leverage. I usually stay away from leverage, but we're gonna discuss this again a little bit when we talk about ETH. And we could see again, a little bit of a sell-off at least into this area. So I'm looking on a daily. We could see this better, but this is the range I have for myself and I've been watching. This is a cluster here that we have, but even if we get a little bit deeper to like 85, I think still it's a reasonable correction. And if we draw the FIB here, the retracement tool, it's pretty much right about the sweet spot, not exactly. So a deep correction will be if we get down to 76, 7. But I don't honestly think it's realistic at this stage, unless obviously we get some kind of negative news on overall on the market. But I think this could spook the market if we just fake out the 100K breakout. And we could have a bit of a downside, especially for outs. And what my plan is in this case is that's why I'm trying to keep a little bit of cash on the side, because if we have this, I could see a lot of outs testing their breakout areas, which would be amazing entries. Because a lot of people now are feeling like, oh, I missed the train, I missed the boat, everything's pumping, shit, fuck, whatever, missing the entire move. Don't worry, we're gonna look into some charts and you'll see that you're not that late. You're not missing the move. I think it's just starting. But also, if this happens, you get the pretty much the best entries you could. Like you could have it a week or two ago, but this will be the second best opportunity if we get this scenario play out. So this is my bearish case, and this is my bearish plan. I'm betting on buying the dip. And if this area doesn't hold, we'll see. We'll evaluate if we get there. But that's the plan if we do this. The other scenario, which in my case is the best case scenario, is Bitcoin does nothing, does absolutely nothing for weeks, for the end of the year, please. I'm wishing for Santa. I just have one wish: Bitcoin, please don't do anything. Yeah, I don't need you to run. I don't need you to just be where you are in this area. Because if this happens, you just saw it like in this leg down, outs didn't move that much, and then they started flying. Like AI is going crazy. I see gaming is starting to heat up. Layer twos, Sol ecosystem, everything is just really pumping. It's hard to be wrong right now in this market. And it's a moment of time that we need to cherish, but we need to be careful and we need to make the most of it. We need to make money, not just to buy random stuff and hope it's gonna 10x, as I mentioned earlier. So this is the best case scenario. If this happens, I'm not doing anything, guys. I'm positioned very well, in my opinion, right now. My bags are full, and I'm just going to be taking profit. If I see something getting overextended, I just scalp some profit out of it. Maybe I'll leave a bigger bag, depends, how it looks. But this is my plan. Nothing really in a bull run. If things are going as planned, you shouldn't be doing absolutely anything, because times are easy. If you start over trading or overthinking, you'll do stupid mistakes and you will lose money at the end, or definitely will underperform the market, and we don't want that. So this is the best case scenario, and I think the best thing to do is just sit on your hands if you have positions. If you don't, obviously we're going to talk about some entries, and obviously we could just rip higher, which again for me it's not a favorable outcome, because even on the weekly it will start getting very overextended. Even this trend is starting to get seriously extended. Like look at this, it was healthy, and even like this last leg up here, it was looking good. It was looking very healthy as we were breaking out. And we will want to see this kind of a push to the upside after 8 months of terrible accumulation we had here. But now the best case will be to just chill a little bit, reset all the indicators if people are watching at the indicators, and just catch up somehow with this lane here. And also let the averages come in. Let me just add one average. Let me just show you what I mean. Let's put the 100. Oops, not the 9,000, the 100. So this is the weekly, but even on the daily, the averages are far below. So ideally, I want something like this trend line to get closer and not to go parabolic just yet. Because if we go parabolic to, let's say, 120, 150, I think that will lead to a big drop off after that. So yeah, ideally we chop around here and then maybe go for another push higher. But let's see. If this happens, I'll be a lot more cautious and a lot more strict with profit taking at this stage. Because if we have an acceleration, then we can have a crash and again buy cheaper and see what happens. So yeah, this is the Bitcoin chart. It's it just looks good, man. It's not that much that's happening. Ethereum, I think, is a little bit more interesting. So I do have a spot back of Ethereum, but recently I added a little bit of leverage, and it's not a. First of all, this is overall not a huge position compared to my spots holding, but also it's not with huge leverage. I'm using like 5 or 6x, so it's not like 10 plus x leverage, and I'm not trying to push the boundaries of where I'll be right or wrong. However, Ethereum is starting to, in my opinion, play a little bit of catch up with Bitcoin. It still has plenty of catch up to do because it hasn't even broken out of this first trouble area right here. So we're not even testing this level. So I think there's still a lot of potential on Ethereum. Maybe it won't like run this hard because people are already, I'm seeing like layer twos pumping really hard. So maybe we don't see this pushing as hard as I would like to see it, but maybe we will. I don't know. I'm positioned for the case where this starts pushing higher. And the trade is very simple that I had. So we had this kind of a consolidation right here. Everybody was waiting for this level to be tested because the trend was accelerated. However, this is a bull market. The pullbacks are shallower and the pushes higher are much higher than people anticipate. So I saw this and I was like, okay, this looks like it's starting to break out of here. So this was around 330. Let me clean this. It's a very messy chart. So it looked like it was pushing through here. I was like, okay, I want to be positioned. We had a pivot low just below this candle. I was like, okay, this is my stop. And if this thing works, this should be the easiest trade of my life. Just do absolutely nothing. Enter here, stop here, just aim for infinity, whatever. It doesn't matter what the price target is, honestly, right now. And then what I did, it chopped around for a few days, didn't stop me out. This was actually expected. That's why I kept my stop just below this because usually these get run quite often. I added a bit more size here, as I've mentioned to you guys. And then we had another push, which I was looking for, the 10% push we had here just a few days ago. And now I've just moved my stop somewhere around here in this area. And my reasoning is that the trend is very clean. So higher, 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 low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high here. I want this to be the higher low. And then we continue higher. If we break this low and get back here, my stop will trigger around here. I'll take my money, I'll take my profit, and then look for a fresher setup somewhere in this area, a bit lower. So that's my strategy. And if it doesn't, if just it keeps continuing like pushing higher, I'm just gonna chill with this one and see what happens. It's very easy when you're in a profit to just manage your position, and when the chart is looking like this and it's just looking very clean. So yeah, Ethereum definitely looks good. I think if you don't have an Ethereum position or if you feel underexposed, it's not even a terrible idea to say like you're risking here like 5% to potentially make more than 20, 30. Like if you're aiming for the 5K area around the previous breakout, this is probably around 50% from here. So I don't think that's a 30%. Okay. But if this reaches all-time high, I don't see a reason not to get into price discovery. So looking a little bit bullish, but a little bit slower. But what I'm seeing here is that the ecosystem of Sol is starting to heat up. And we're going to look into this in a bit when I talk about the portfolio. But you can see this probably the most powerful chart in crypto. Why I'm saying this? Because it went through shit here, obviously, with this FTX. And we have only been in up mode. So this was a major token. And from here, from this, even not from the bottom. Let's say you didn't have the balls to buy the bottom. But from here, you're up like 9, 10x on a major token. This is like top 5 major token in crypto. So crazy gains. The scale of it is incredible, and it just keeps pushing. And that's great to see. The ecosystem is very healthy, a lot of degening, a lot of great projects, a lot of airdrops still, like Magic Eden is in about 10 days. I'm very excited about that one. A lot of catalysts in general in crypto right now. And it's just at all-time high, and ideally it just drops around here because this one is also one of the first movers on the market, just like Bitcoin. And if it chops around here and ETH starts outperforming, that will be ideal because the ecosystem of Sol will also push higher during this time. But if it doesn't, and if it just breaks out, because as I said, shallower corrections in bear markets, and as you can see here, we barely even touched this cluster here. And this could be the bottom here. And it just starts pushing higher. And then the targets on Solana go to so I think 400, 600, very achievable as first thing, especially if things go crazy. Because I just want to show you real quick for measure this chart, previous bull run, first bull run of Solana. So very classic. And this, I'm showing you this because you're going to see this chart now in pretty much all of the plays that I'm taking. Accumulation, the very first accumulation at two to $5 Solana. Very nice run up here. Very clean structure on the breakout. Very nice pattern. Doesn't get more classic than this. Big push up, bit of correction, but compared to the push, like nothing major. Another push up, then consolidated. Okay, this is a big move from the top to the bottom. It was like 37%, but still, if you caught this breakout here, you don't give a fuck about this. You'll be taking profit here and still be in deep profit. And then you could take another breakout. You have the luxury with your good entries. And then we had another crazy push here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing stuff like this, And then again, we got another push, which was insane. But let's say Solana was an outlier, but I think a lot of projects could do this, till the end of the bull run. Definitely. And I'm positioned for this. I'm prepared for this if this happens. And I'll show you now the blueprint and some of the positions. But let's first go over the portfolio. If you have questions, let me know. I'm seeing one. Can you take a look at Dogecoin and ETH? ETH we discussed. Take profit in what range or drop coming? So let's see Doge. Real quick before the portfolio. Doge is, it's looking strong, honestly. This is one of those huge coins already. I don't even know what's the market cap on this. Just look at this. I never thought we are going to get to this levels on Doge, honestly. And look how overextended. This is like straight 2 months of just green, nothing. Even this week that we're just closing, it's supposed to be red, but it's not. It's super bullish. But this is definitely getting overextended. I'm not trading Doge. I'm just more into the smaller caps. But I think this could have a little bit more room. I'm seeing Pepe starting to run. I'm seeing Whiff also. I positioned in Whiff. But you could see this very clean chart. Like I cannot argue with this. Whatever I say, it will be done. But you need to be strict on the risk management because it's so up high as we discussed. But a stop below this area around 35 cents and targets 70, 80 cents. I think is not unreasonable for Doge. The absolute all-time high was like 75, something like this. But even here, like to like 60, I would probably start taking profit because this thing is looking, it's crazy. All right, let's get into the more juicy stuff. Portfolio. This is my portfolio as of today. So just if you do the math, you see that the percentages are a little bit higher. So it says 102%. But I didn't want to bother. So some of the positions are like 1.3. I just rounded up to 1.5%. Some others are like 6.5, whatever. I just rounded up. And also just keep this in mind. What I'm sharing here is my crypto portfolio dedicated only to like majors and altcoins. I'm not including farming stuff. And I'm obviously not including any ordinals or runes here. We could do that separately if you guys like, let me know. But this is only for altcoins. and shit. And it's already getting very like difficult to manage all of these positions. But let's go over it, and we can discuss this separately. And obviously, if you have questions, let me know. So first of all, Bitcoin, as you can see, just 20%. I've been taking profit on Bitcoin. I've been riding it pretty much from the bottom, honestly. I shoved quite a bit of my Bitcoin into runes and ordinals. That went well. Still going very well. Very, very bullish on that. Last trade I took was at 60K, took profit at 80 something, took profit at almost 100K. I'm good. I'm good with this little Bitcoin. This is not a typical portfolio allocation. You'll see a lot of people having 40, 50, 60% in Bitcoin. That's just not me. My edge overall, it's in altcoins. I eat shit when we're not in a bull market, but you know, if we get into the right conditions, these tend to do quite well. Ethereum is at 12% currently. Keep in mind, this is not including the leverage position that I said and the farming stuff. I have still a lot of Ethereum locked into the farming. I'm also looking to maybe dedicate some of the Ethereum that it's not on the list into ETH NFTs. I'm seeing a couple of plays, but I don't want to get too deep right now. Maybe if we get a deep dive in the prices and we see some interesting price action on the ETH NFTs front, I'll jump in. Cash, I got about 9%, probably a little bit less because this is fluctuating a lot. Just keeping in mind, this is a screenshot of the percentages I took just like half an hour ago. And obviously these go up and down a lot, but while the cash kind of stays permanent, but the percentages move. So again, take it as you wish. I want to keep this amount just because it's good to have cash, especially if we drop. It would be ideal to buy the dip. Ondo has turned into like my major position here. It's almost as big as Ethereum, and it's growing. Um, Happy to see this. Honestly, I traded this very well. I've been trading this since the very beginning. I was probably one of the first people that was talking about Ondo. Um, and just keep this in mind. I'm not saying this to brag. And a lot of people will look smart right now in the bull market, but I'm just saying it because uh, you know we need to have a reference point of something like I started looking at this very early, and I had a system to look into such type of coins early. And I just wanted to point out that you could do this as well. It's not that hard. Yeah. So anyway, we traded Ondo from here to the top, pretty much sold most of it in this area. Um, Made a few trades here, didn't work out, but now I aped in around 70 cents and I've been patient with it and now it's paying off. But I think it's just starting. Honestly, look in the chart on the weekly, just delete all this. We could have corrections because the weekly is starting to get a little bit hot, but we are not even into price discovery, guys. And this is a major real world asset token. So yeah, I'm very bullish on this, but I wouldn't be buying it right now. Just maybe wait for some consolidation here, maybe a retrace. But I'll show you other tokens that barely any even consolidated around all-time high. So just we're going to talk about all the scenarios. So yeah, another real-world asset token I have is Parcel. I like this a lot, and I like the price action. I didn't get the best entry because I've been stocking this, and I missed a few entries, but still very bullish. Just ripped, consolidated, now looking for another leg higher. If we start breaking above, and this is actually a pretty cool breakout to take if you haven't any parcel. Like this as a stop loss is not terrible at these conditions. And if we get above this, like there's pretty much no price levels above it. And it's a really small token, so I like it. I think this could balloon very easily. And something about the categories here, these are just my categories. I don't like some of them are overlapping. But this is how I name them for some simplicity's sake. But keep in mind, like Parcel, for example, is on Sol, as also is Neon. So Neon and Parcel are technically also Sol ecosystem tokens, but I've just put them in their category where I believe they belong. Like this real world asset, Neon is in this case gaming because it's a game. So yeah, real world assets, I have about 10% total allocation. Again, this is rounded up, so ignore it. And I think I'm gonna hold it for now. There's a few other tokens that I'm looking into, like Syrup. This is this was called Maple, but they launched like a new token. I'm very excited about this one. If it holds, I'm probably gonna get some airdropped because I'm staking some USDC on their platform. But if this starts like consolidating here, I'll probably load the back, depending on the conditions. The biggest one for me right now is AI, and I'm playing it a little bit different because there are major AI coins like Tao and other stuff. But since I know this and I've made money in AI in beginning of this year or end of last year, I don't remember. In little AI coins, I kind of know the market and I think I have an edge. So that's why I'm having a completely different approach. My main token is EOS. That's a higher market cap. I think it's even on Binance, if I'm not mistaken, or it's most of the major exchanges listed. It just looks good. It's not overvalued compared to like Tao. And if you look at the chart, I mean, what a beauty. And we are just at all-time highs. So I entered here because I was like, fuck, this is not going to give me another entry. Just what I discussed a little bit ago with Parcel and Ondo and the others. Like, huge push, barely consolidated just below this area, this consolidation area here, accumulation area, sorry. And then it just blasted off. And I thanked God and myself that I decided to pull the to pull the trigger on this, although it was looking quite extended here. And then I was looking at it a few days ago. I was like, damn, this is going to break out really hard. And I had an alert, but I was out. And by the time I saw the alert, this was already up 10% on the day. And I was like, fuck. And this is, keep in mind, I have a big position in this one, and I'm big in profit. So I was here, I haven't touched it, I haven't taken any profit. I was up like 50% on this one. And I wanted to add more, but I was like missing it. And I'm like, fuck. And I was getting FOMO because I missed it. And now we got into the all-time area just with one candle. I was like, if this consolidates here, then I'm gonna add. And it just didn't consolidate. Look at it. It's just this is today, 10% up. So it's getting crazy out there. But I'm gonna be patient. This is starting to look extended, like on the weekly, as you can see. So maybe if Bitcoin chops a bit and we get like something like this, and then maybe I'll add. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm being patient. And then I have a bunch of other smaller coins. They're growing. Like Palm is growing at it a bit more to Berry. Spectre's one that's a little bit lagging, but the chart still looks very good. This is not too popular, but the chart just looks great. These are like between 20 and 80 million in market cap. And I like all of them. Like all of the charts look similar. I have diversification um, amongst them. I don't know which one will make it, honestly. That's why I just like to buy most and see what happens. And this is the DEAI. Just look at this chart. I mean, come on. Nothing to say. It's just the perfect chart. I didn't add enough of this, honestly. I want to have more. But yeah, it's still doing all right. Type AI is like 10 million market cap or something. This is the last one I added. If this thing breaks out, it's going to go ballistic. I'm telling you, like this is a breakout technically, but if it accelerates, this is such a small token, and I made money on this way up here that it's just looking amazing in my opinion. But it's just 1%. It's a low cap. But as you can see, AI has grown to be my biggest allocation for now. We'll see how the market treats it, but a percentage here and there, and this adds up to a lot because I have quite a bit of spread around these tokens. GPU is another one that I've been hustling with this one also, but now it's looking good. But again, I didn't add enough size on this here. I was hesitant on this breakout, but yeah, never mind. No regrets since it's up. Cannot complain. Next narrative is gaming. I think this will be very hot as well. Like Carrot is one that I added a bit today, just a little bit. And now it's starting to accelerate, but my initial entry is around 50 cents. And as you can see, exact same pattern as Neon, which is, oh my God, feels so good to have a token that you just buy more of it. I was accumulating in this entire range because initially I was looking at it like this. So initially it was like, okay, this is accumulation. However, then, what I like to do is just delete some of the drawings so I can have a fresh perspective. And I was looking at this, and I was like, okay, I need to add more because this thing is going to rip. And this is exactly what happened today. I bought yesterday around this area and just instantly in profit. This is how I like to do it. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it just feels good. So yeah, this is a tiny market cap, but with lots of tokens that are locked and potentially will be unlocked. So just keep this in mind. But I just like it. So low valuation and the chart just looks good in my opinion. Obviously, some selling pressure will come from these guys here, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, gaming, very good. Prime is another one that is. I should have it here. Is looking quite good. Also, a big push it had. This was very choppy in this area. I just held through it. My entry is around $7, if I remember. But now, honestly, at this area on the weekly, also very clear area of resistance. And if we get just a little bit of consolidation on the lower time frame, and if it just doesn't go parabolic from here, I think this could be a good entry as well. And if you want to FOMO into it, even at these areas, like just risking 4 or 5% here, I think it's pretty good. So just keep in mind your sizing if you don't have any. This also falls under a little bit the AI narrative, but it's for me, it's pure gaming. And it's on Coinbase and all the goodies. Another one is Super. I think this is still early. My entry is somewhere around this area, around 1.4, but this is not in price discovery just yet. But look at this chart, just tested it and now coming back to retest. I think this will fly really hard. One that I didn't buy just because I wanted to keep my portfolio below below 100 tokens. Beam, very clean chart again. Didn't buy it, but again at a key area here and could start accelerating. But any dips on these, I think, are strong buy if you are into gaming. So I quite like all of these. And I'm looking into some. I actually have a private round that I'm waiting for to start allocating in gaming, and that's why I want to keep it a little bit, you know, lower as a number of positions right here. Although not like AI and gaming are my highest conviction. Infrastructure. I don't even know how to call this category, but it's pretty much like stuff that it's not gaming or AI or real assets. So yeah, I have a few positions here. There are Tia and Aptos. So the play here is very simple. We have Sui, which I would probably add at some point because this one's like the market darling, but I just don't like the chart right now. If it breaks out above like $4, that's a great buy in my opinion, or it dips lower. But Aptos is a catch-up play to this one because they both are launched together. Didn't have the best entry here, somewhere around this area, but now it's starting to show some strength, but it's slow. So maybe it won't be a catch-up play. We'll see. Maybe I need to cut this one and reevaluate. Maybe it will be a slower cooker. We'll see. But the chart doesn't look terrible, honestly. Tia is another one. Tia is like I don't even know, modular blockchain, how to call it, whatever. It's a token that I've been back holding for a shit ton of time. And I was underwater for a long time. I DCA'd in this area as well. Now for first time in profit, and Tia is actually on paper one of my bigger positions here, and it's growing. So it will be interesting to see how this develops. ZK, it says 4%, but technically it's more because I have a lot of it locked in farming, which I don't count in these 4%. So ZK is one of my, if not my biggest position, even bigger than Ondo, together with everything. And this chart just starting to look amazing. My entries look perfect now, like at 12 cents, but back here, there are a lot of doubts, but this is just coiling up beautifully and now just barely starting to accelerate. So ideally, a little bit more chop and then just rip will be great. Layer zero, beautiful again. This one just dragged me out of my nerves, honestly. I bought it here. I was down at some point, 34%. I didn't want to average in, but in hindsight, I should have because this is what this does. It just pushes, bleeds slowly, and then pushes again, and so on, so on. But anyway, I have a position. I'm good with it. Now it's starting to look even better. So these are my key like infra play. And when it comes to Sol Eco, I added WIF today. just for a play. It's starting to look decent. I want to have some meme, and I just chose this one. Maybe it's not the best one, honestly, thinking about it, but just the setup for me, it's decent. So I'm gonna take it and see what happens. And it's looking to like it's starting to look like it's reversing here. And if we clear this area, I think will be great. And then I have a bit of gold and Jupiter. I almost forgot about Jupiter. This is also starting to accelerate, but if again break this area, I think that would be amazing. So yeah, this is my portfolio. I know it's a lot, guys, but I just wanted to go over it. Pretty much all tokens are looking great right now. So let's see how this plays out. Have a quick question. Hey, Zlat, thanks for the market update. Most appreciated. Thank you. I wonder why you spent a decent percentage of your time to runes and ordinals instead of the normal altcoins that are tradable and normal exchanges, and why opinion are easier to trade. Very simple. The risk to reward on runes is like if I can make, let's say, on Jupiter a 10x, this means that on runes I will probably be making anything between 20 and 50 x's. Easy. These are the meme coins of Bitcoin, buddy. These are like if you have absolutely zero exposure to crypto right now, I would definitely say go all in on runes. And the charts there look amazing. Like they're not even started to have a bull run. They're far from it. They're just accumulating or correcting right now. And these things, if they have a run, it will be legendary. It will like put me in retirement if runes start running. It's not even an exaggeration. So yeah, I'm quite excited as you can see on runes. So don't take my word for granted, but yeah. Okay, guys, I don't see any other questions, so let's just wrap it up here. And yeah, if you have any questions, you know how to find me.